Good evening and welcome to the Schaefer Center here in Waxahachie, Texas, on the campus of Southwestern Assemblies of God University. You are in, I don't know, what do you say? In for a treat,
there you
I
go.
guess.
That's good.
Trick or treat. It's no tricks tonight. Nothing but treats. It's the Lady Lions, your women's volleyball action tonight against Mid-America Christian University out of Oklahoma. Have come to visit, and the Lady Lions are going to see if they can break a one-game losing streak. If you haven't heard, this past Tuesday they went down 287 to Fort Worth, just a few miles away, and lost a heartbreaker to Texas Wesleyan University. Big win for Texas Wesleyan, but put the Lady Lions in kind of a bad position to cinch up the conference season tournament champions. They have to win out, and Oklahoma City will have to actually lose a game this weekend if the Lady Lions want to take that championship. So, it's kind of tough.
Yeah, it's going to be
It's
going to be a fight for the Lady Lions. We were really hoping, especially earlier on in the season, they were on that winning streak. We were hoping that they could snag that first place. So we'll have to wait through the weekend and see what next week looks like. But if Oklahoma City takes it away from them, the Lady Lions are just going to have a little harder to fight.
Well, we're going to go down courtside to our courtside reporter, Kristen Urban, who's with head coach Hank Moore, and talk about this a little bit further.
Thanks, John. Coach Moore, you suffered a tough loss to Texas Wesleyan. What adjustments, if any, will you be making going into tonight's game?
Well, we're going to shake our lineup a little bit. We're going to move Suzanne Figueroa back to right side, and we're going to play Kennedy Wiley as the second outside. And we flipped our middles, but just a little change, nothing major.
What is the number one thing you have to take away from Mid-America Christian to come out with a win tonight?
Mid-America has a really good, strong right side attack. Number 21, left-handed hitter that can really swing. And then also their setter, number 17. She's a fantastic player, so we're going to have to minimize those two kids, and I think the rest of it will take care of itself.
Thanks, Coach Moore, and good luck tonight. Back to you, John and Devin.
Thank you, Kristen. Thanks, Coach Moore. And there you have it. You hear from Coach Moore talking about a little bit of what's going to go on tonight and their approach. He's shaking up the lineup a little bit here at the end of the season. I think he's trying to build some alternate chemistry as well. So you're going to see a few things that you haven't seen consistently during the bulk of the season. And I think Kennedy Wiley's really coming back into more full form. So we should see her athleticism displayed on the court. And she's been a missing piece to the puzzle. Even though she's a freshman, she's a fantastic freshman. 4 very, very good freshmen on this team that contribute a lot. And it's going to be really good to see if they can gel against not one of the heavyweights tonight. And I think he feels like he's going to have a little better opportunity to explore with the lineup differently than maybe if it was one of the top of the conference teams. Now, you can't take any team lightly, so you got to come out and play your absolute best, play as hard as you can, and that's something that the Lady Lions have struggled with up until right now. Last few games, they've just been struggling with some mental confidence, it looks like, and looking for them to snap out of it and get back. So we're going to take you courtside right now for the opening prayer, the national anthem, and the starting lineups.
This tradition has been really important to us for a long time. It started in honor of Cynthia Smith, who's the mother of one of our former players, Emily Smith. Emily was a player here for 4 years, and she coached another year. She was here with SAGU for a total of 5 years. Since it's become a tradition, we've seen a lot of our family members struggle and fight through colon cancer. We wanted to keep the tradition alive, to raise awareness of the disease and encourage people to be aware of the signs and routinely get checked. Our theme this year is family. Before every game, we come together and say one family, one heart. When we say this, I'm constantly reminded of the family this team has become. We've experienced incredible victories and devastating losses in our lives, and through it all, we've picked each other up and kept moving forward. We're a family, fighting for hope, fueled by passion. Finally, I do want to put some faces to the survivors and families of people who lost their lives to cancer. So starting with survivors, if I say your name, please stand as we recognize you. Mike Massey, grandfather of Molly McBride, and Brenda McBride, grandmother of Molly McBride. Next is John Wilson, uncle of Seeley Bruce. Next, we want to honor those who fought the good fight. If I say your family member's name, please stand as a family as we recognize you. First, Cynthia Smith, mother of Emily Smith. Next, Larry Thomas, grandfather of Ashley Thomas. Calvin Stallaby, grandfather of Brittany Stallaby. And finally, Bert Clark, grandfather, and Tony Martinor, aunt of Maddie Hartline. Again, I do want to thank you all for coming out wearing blue and supporting our family. It's a long haul.
And Southwestern Assembly University welcomes all players, officials, and spectators to this match, featuring the Evangels of Mid-American Christian University and your SAGU Lady Lions. As a member of the NAIA and the SAGU Athletics Conference, we are committed to the true spirit of competition as champions of character, embracing 5 core values: respect, integrity, responsibility, servant leadership, and sportsmanship. We ask each of you as a participant, official, or spectator to abide by these values by creating a positive environment in which our athletes may participate, our officials may work, and you, the spectator, may enjoy. We hope you'll enjoy this contest. And now, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we honor God in prayer. Then remain standing and face the flag as we honor our nation with the singing of the national anthem by SAGU student and member of the Harvesters, Eddie Perkins. Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for this time here. Lord, we value everything that you do in our lives. We thank you for the blessings that you've given us. Lord, I pray for these players, Lord, that you protect them from all injury, all harm. Guide us as well on our ways back home. We thank you for everything you do in our lives. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose once dry
And now the starting lineups for the Evangels. Defensive specialist, sophomore number 2, Gabrielle Pulling. Middle blocker, freshman number 6, Skylar Browser. Right side setter, junior number 17, Alexa Bass. Middle hitter, junior number 18, Diane Walter. Outside hitter, junior number 19, Elena Hajeva. Right side, freshman number 21, Anika Barnett. And at libero, number 4, Kaylee Walker. Head coach for the Evangels is Faith Evaleos. And now the starting lineups for your SAGU Lady Lions. Outside hitter right side, senior number 2, Callie Shaw. Middle hitter, junior number 3, Madeline Hartline. At center, junior number 8, Sophia Ivy. Outside hitter, freshman number 16, Kennedy Wiley. Outside hitter right side, senior number 17, Suzanne Figueiredo. Middle hitter right side, freshman number 18, Jancy Akers. And at libero, senior number 7, Celie Breeze. Head coach for the Lady Lions in his 18th season is Hank Moore. Assistant coach is Nick Moore.
And there you have it, the starting lineups for both teams. And in just a couple minutes, the action will start. But it's so good to have my partner in crime, the color commentator, the expert in all things volleyball, Devin Webb, sitting beside me. We've missed you the last couple games, Devin. So good to have you back. But quickly, before we get started, what do you think the Lady Lions need to do to get back to form?
So we've talked a little bit on this broadcast tonight about how the Lady Lions have been kind of switching up the lineups, trying some new things out. So with that territory comes a little bit of chaos, if you will, for lack of a less intense word. But the focus is really going to need to be on getting them back to a place where they're playing clean and simple volleyball, really. I mean, it's I've said this before, but the game is really simple if you do the little things right. If you get your feet to the ball, if you hustle and get your hips placed in the right spot. If you do every little thing right, it comes together in this beautiful picture, and you have a great way to execute the game. And if you don't do those little things, then we have what we've kind of have seen from the Lady Lions a little bit recently, where you've got players throwing arms out trying to get a shanked pass back in play. You have hit balls going out of bounds, little things like that. So we're going to see if tonight they can pull that together into a clean match.
Alexa Bass with the serve for the Evangels. And a quick point by your Lady Lions. Now, Suzanne Figueiredo serves first for the Lady Lions. And there was a little bit of a happy birthday for Maddie Hartline. She did well with it. It was hard hit and kind of shanked as the dig happened for the Evangels. Suzanne back, second serve. Kennedy Wiley bringing it early in the game, and that's why you see her, even though she's a freshman, coming in and doing damage early.
And it's so neat to see freshmen coming into to themselves, as a player early on in their career. We're late in the season, but she's only a freshman, like you mentioned. So we've got a lot of hustle and drive. As we've seen from her, she's going to have a strong career here with the Lady Lions. Great hustle by Shaw on the back line there, and Wiley up again with a great tip.
There you go. Another. Is that a kill? Does that go down as a kill?
It sure does.
Okay. She's 2 for 2. Maddie Hartline with a quick block. And what happened there?
The net violation. If we can see it on the replay here, that middle right there, she's under the net, tried to get out, but unfortunately made contact right at the end.
So explain the process to us that are a little bit amateur in our knowledge. Can you hit the net at all?
No.
Okay.
So it's gone back and forth. The rule has changed so many times, and if you come from a career where you've played club volleyball, you will know what I'm saying when I say that it changed there a lot too. So it's kind of confusing to remember which version of volleyball we're playing here. But in collegiate volleyball, they watch the net really, really closely. It used to be called as tightly as if your ponytail got into the net.
Wow.
So they're a little bit more lax on that.
So is the line, the middle line of the floor, is that considered to be a part of the net?
No, so you can actually go all the way under if you don't. The judgment call there for the referee is if you don't interfere or put any player in danger, they're not going to call it. But if you do make contact with the net and it's visibly moving, then that's a violation. So in that instance, the MACU middle could have gone all the way under the net, and if she would have kind of done a limbo move and not touched the net, it would have been fine. So it gets a little dicey. Yeah,
and that's kind of hard for the novices like myself to see. And I noticed when you were gone, it was tough for me to recognize that call or what was going on, because I'm watching the ball a lot of times, the action, and usually it's up higher, and you don't see that. And there you see a well hit by a well placed ball by the Evangels, just out of the reach of Suzanne, and she knew it was going to be long, let it go, and point SAGU. Your score is 6-1, Lady Lions. And this is Nikki Almaguer back to serve. Drops one in, back deep. She's very accurate. And she seems to actually get better with each game.
And that play right there is evidence of why you always need to make sure you put your foot on the line. Whether it's the side or the back, you've got to make sure you know where you are on the court, because you can't rely on your eyes and the depth perception that way, because clearly, Hartline with the great swing there. Almost recovered, but not quite.
So that got hit a couple times. Is that registered as a kill?
No, it would have, if on first contact, it would have gone down. But as soon as it has that second contact, it's a playable ball.
Fantastic. Good knowledge. And that's why we call it Ghost Pepper. From Callie Shaw. Bring in the heat.
Right in the face on that replay.
And I think that was a little tricky right there, because it snipped the net and broke some of the defensive timing.
It's a great off-speed roll shot there by Shaw. You saw a beautiful pass and set. She was set up to go full swing, but that was a great call. She saw the open spot on the 10-foot line and dropped her elbow and made that beautiful roll shot for the score to now be 10-1 Lady Lions.
And that's pretty remarkable to be able to come from a absolute 100-mile fastball to a 60-mile-an-hour or less changeup like that. And that's what makes Callie Shaw one of the best NAIA collegiate players in the nation. Maddie Hartline just playing lights out defense this game.
smart play there by Shaw to not send it over. Gives the Lady Lions another opportunity here. Great offensive play by Hartline. Lots of great things going on in that rally, but Shaw made that tough call right there. She could have gone up and tried to swing, but she knew where she was, a little too far off the net. So that's a great teammate move to not take that ball and try and get the glory for it.
And I got a question we need to revisit after this point for Hartline there. All the way over from Suzanne. Oh, great placement. And I believe that was number 42. Let's see in the replay. It was Hannah Bowser-Lipset.
Serving Catherine Mansfield.
Great placement by the freshman. Heartland getting a lot of swings. Going to the middle a lot is Sophie Ivy. And I would assume that, is that a called play?
Yeah, usually what happens before a serve or a free ball, you call the play. That's Ivy's responsibility. And you made the analogy earlier. The setter's kind of like the quarterback. It's a great analogy. So they all know what to do on a free ball, and she calls that first play for serve receive as well, and that usually sticks through that entire rally.
And that's Sophie Ivy with the left hand. She's gotten very good at that little play, or I would call it a kind of a dump play. In the not choosing to make the set, she notices an area on the court that is vulnerable, and so her court vision's become so much better over the years, and she has this year been lights out with that play. And yet again, seizes the opportunity, and the score is 14-2. Now, the Lady Lions look like they're maybe getting their groove back a little bit, because they haven't had a lead like this, I would say, in maybe 6 games on any team.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I was just thinking this a second ago. Even though the score is what it is, it still kind of feels like the Lady Lions have more energy that they can bring out on the court. We've seen a lot of hustle from both sides, even though the Evangels really haven't been able to deliver all the way through on a play. They've been, falling all over the place trying to get balls up off the floor. And the Lady Lions have had several balls that have almost hit the floor. But I do think there's still some more energy that they're not outputting. And I think that as, we've got a great lead here and they kind of relax a little bit, we'll hopefully see more of that, more intense plays rather than just pushing the ball outside. That's a pretty safe set. So hopefully we'll see some more vigorous plays, if you will, on offense.
And there you go, a little bit of a miss hit by the Evangels. Great serve by Ashlyn Thomas. That's kind of her specialty. Now explain this. I don't know if we could see this, but she'll serve and run straight to the left 10-foot line.
Yeah,
so what is that her position? I mean, she's a server, so I would think she would have to stay in the right back, but she's running over to the left side.
So on paper, her position is right back. You're right. She rotates in. That's the service position. But we've talked about it a little bit before. It's been, probably 2 months ago now. But you have your base position is what it's called. So in practices, when you say get to base, that's where you go when you're getting ready to play defense. So Suzanne plays that right back spot. You see Nikki Almaguer in center back. Mm-hmm. And we've got Ashlyn Thomas playing left back. So that's where you see everyone's in base now. Then they rotate over to their defensive positions. And right there, that ball should have been covered by the block. So that's something that in each practice you're going over where the block's taking away.
So exactly who would have covered that? It was a well-hit ball by the Evangels, well placed to the back. But was that Almaguer? Okay.
Yeah, she with that lineup of defense, you've got Thomas that will get that back deep left part of the court. Almaguer transitions over. The block is supposed to take away the middle of the floor with Shaw. Excellent hit from the middle there.
Wow. And so we don't normally see Shaw hit from the middle, but she's kind of not up at the net on that play, more in the middle. Looks like a new play from Coach Moore's playbook.
See, and that's what I mentioned earlier at the timeout. You know, we see Shaw hitting a lot from the outside, and as the Lady Lions get their groove back, they're going to try these more creative plays, getting Shaw in position to hit from every spot on the front row, because we've seen her be capable to do so.
Yeah, she can. There's no doubt. She can hit it from anywhere on that court with accuracy. Oh, that was a really good swing, though, by Deja Thompson. That was a very good swing. She's a senior, 5'10", outside hitter. Just a little long for her, though.
Double contact there.
And Callie Shaw back to serve. Oh, that was on the line, right in front of the line judge's eyes. So you know that was right. It may even look a little long on our camera, but that's right on the line. Emphatically, he says. Okay, so looked like Akers got it, and it kind of came back to her. Is that not considered a cover? She just covered herself, or?
Well, it would have been had the Evangels been up to block in the joust formation,
Okay.
but the ball actually went back into the net. Oh, he made up for it right there, though. The line judge almost had to move out of the way. But yeah, so if she would have blocked that ball and MACU would have been up to joust and they would have made contact with it and she then tried to cover, it would have been legal. But she touched it, it went into the net, and then she touched it again, so therefore it's that double contact.
Yeah, and that was Jancy Akers with that point, and she's one of the fantastic freshmen for Coach Moore's Lady Lions. And you just can't say enough good things about Jancy Akers and what she's done for this team as a middle blocker, but also as a hitter. She is has one of the highest hitting percentages in the nation. Just doesn't qualify for being in the rankings because you have to have a certain number of tries per game, and just falling just short of that. So she doesn't get the actual hitting percentage credit that she really deserves.
We had Kennedy Wiley there with another great kill. The ball just fell a little bit in front of the block for the Evangels. They were up there in the right spot, but unfortunately not penetrating the net quite enough. We've got another double contact there. And that takes set number 1. Lady Lions 25-5.
And I can say that they have not had a set all year to come to them that easy. And the Lady Evangels just happened to kind of come into Waxahachie in the Schaefer Center kind of on the wrong night. And this is after losing. They have really not lost that many sets all year. And they had a 25-game winning streak until they went up to Oklahoma City and lost a heartbreaker up there in 4 sets, and then went and beat John Brown, which John Brown gave them a great game. Then came back and lost to Texas Wesleyan this Tuesday. Got swept, and that has not happened all year. It's almost just a head scratcher. Just how could that happen? And I'm sure Coach Moore went back to the drawing board and had a good come to Jesus meeting with his Lady Lions, and they are coming out responding well with a 25-5 victory.
And I think, coming off of Texas Wesleyan has been a long-standing rival. We know that, no matter who you are in the conference, you know that the Lady Lions and Texas Wesleyan have been fighting each other for a long time. So that's obviously being swept is a tough thing no matter what, but especially against Wesleyan, that's hard to recover from.
And you see there on your screen some other NAIA action. That's the number 7 Viterbo playing the number 25, illegitimate number 25 Bellevue, by the way. There's no way they should be even in the top 50. You're talking about head scratchers. It's just SMH, Devin, SMH. How Bellevue could actually be ranked number 25 is a travesty. And, there's a little more to that story. We'll get into that
Moving on.
maybe in between next game. But they are hanging close with the number 7 Viterbo, it looks like. But I believe Viterbo will win that. And Viterbo's good. They're not a bad team at all. But I don't think they're better than Oklahoma City. They're definitely not better than the Lady Lions. And just a little bit of a travesty. We'll talk a little more about how the rankings are working and or not working as the newest coaches poll has come out. And, I got a little dissertation for you.
And as we get started here in set number 2, it'll be interesting to see after such a strong lead there, 25-5, a 20-point deficit. It would be easy for the Lady Lions to come out and be kind of lax, and that's what's so dangerous about the game of volleyball, that really after every set to 25, it's a new game. It's a new opportunity for the underdog, if you will, to come out and take a set away. There's a reason why these college matches are best of 5.
Okay, remind us that Jancy Akers was in the game. Game has not started, and then immediately came to the sideline, and I would assume it's her service, but Stalaby checked in for her. Why do you have to check in before a game starts?
So that has to do with the libero, which is it's a little bit of a tricky explanation that might take too long during active play. So next time out, remind me, and I'll explain it.
I'll do it. Because I tried when you weren't here. I wanted to explain it, but I just didn't have the words. And it was because I was ignorant. Callie Shaw from well behind the 10-foot line. Point SAGU. What was that?
That call right there, a back row attack. So we've got whoever just hit that ball was back row, but if you are technically on paper, as we talked about in the back row, you cannot jump in front of the 10-foot line, no matter where you are on the floor, even if you're set the third ball. If you know you're in front of the 10-foot line, you got to keep your feet on the ground.
Just a little long for Skylar Brower, the freshman, 6-foot freshman, middle blocker for the Lady Evangels. Just a little sloppy play up there at the net, not securing the second hit, and really the initial dig put them in the net. Stalaby with the receive. Kennedy Wiley, that's actually before Kennedy could get to it. The set was double contact.
And I think this referee has done a great job of calling that fair on both sides of the floor. There's nothing worse than having a referee that either won't call it at all and then all of a sudden pulls it out, or one, that calls on one side. So this referee has been really consistent.
Well, I will tell you, while you were away, in one of the matches that we were, it was so noticeable. The referee was not going to call a double contact at all. I think maybe 2 in 4 sets. Wow. Good block.
Great block. No recovery attempt there.
Yeah. Just out of position. Kind of an off-balance jump there, but great block by the Evangels. Ooh, nice placement. Silly Bruce couldn't get to it in time, just short of her stance.
It looked like there her weight was caught a little bit on her heels,
Yep.
so she wasn't able to move forward. That's the biggest thing as a defensive player. Another double contact there on Ivy. And when you're playing defense, you've got to keep your weight on your toes because you never know when you're going to have to move at the last second, and you don't really have time to shift the weight because by the time you do that, the ball's already on the ground. So that's something we don't see very often from Bruce.
Kennedy Wiley just getting warmed up. Her hitting percentage is very nice tonight.
Sitting pretty. We've seen a lot of bump sets from MACU, and you know, even though some of them might be pretty accurately placed, it's just not aggressive, and you can't win plays against a team like the Lady Lions if you're not going to be able to get your feet there and set a clean ball to your offense.
Well, this is a very, very young team for MACU, and 8 of the 12 players are either freshmen or sophomore, most of them freshmen. So this is a kind of what we would call in the sports industry a rebuilding year, it looks like. And Coach Avalos has her hands full trying to get this thing back on track, but it'll come. It's kind of the ebb and flow of collegiate sports. And again, Kennedy Wiley going across the court that time. Well placed, well hit.
We've seen her get really creative there. She's got some great placement in the middle of the floor, really aggressive pike in her approach. She follows through really, really well all the way through. And right there we saw that cross-court shot. It takes a lot of skill and confidence to be able to deliver on that.
And that was a good hit. Well placed by Deja Thompson. MACU keeping it close so far. Very different looking team. Same players, just the play is looking a lot better in this set.
This is what we mentioned before set 2 even started. We had a 25-5 win in set number 1, and here we are. The game is tied 8-8. Coach Moore has his same team out there, so you know, we're seeing a little bit of that sloppy volleyball that we talked about before the match even started. We've got to clean it up, just do the little things right. That's
there it
all
is.
takes.
And they went right back to Suzanne after her error in the net, and she just crushed one to the backside, really close to the line. Ungettable. Ashlyn Thomas to serve again. Wow. A little punch, soft punch there. By MACU. And I think that was Elena Hedge.
You see Akers there take that wide open spot. She saw nobody in that 5 spot, as we refer to that back left corner of the court, 5 spot, completely open. She saw that, went up for that quick set in the middle and took advantage of it. Great play.
Alexis Mealer checking in for, I think, the first time this match. 3 ball over. Well hit off. the defense there. It looked like it was Alexis Mealer getting her hand on it, but it goes out of bounds. And now Diane Walter served in. Big hit, Callie Shaw. There's when she hits the ball, it's just different than 90% of all the other hitters out there.
You can tell she's really able to relax, get creative. Even with if it's not a great set, she's able to make it into something that has a really strong offensive pull. And right there, we saw almost, I think it was all 6 of the Lady Lions kind of watch that ball fall to the ground.
They really did, and that's what we're seeing a lot. Some lackluster defense in this particular set. Not getting the coverages aren't getting there. A lot of just it's bouncing in front of the defense.
And you see Coach Moore's disappointment. He's going to have to get creative here. We're in set 2, and the Lady Lions are now, we were down now, a tie game again, 12-12. And as we're getting closer to that 25-point mark, we can't afford to make mistakes on the Lady Lions side like we've been making. You know, you've got to clean it up. The defense, like you've mentioned, is really what's killing us right now. We're playing pretty aggressive at the net, but a lot of balls are falling to the floor, and that just isn't going to work.
And the Evangels are seizing the moment and putting some well-placed hits. I don't think they're ungettable, but at least putting it in a tough spot. Nice block by Maddie Hartline. And there you go.
You
Setter.
saw Alexis Mealer there kind of throw up her arms in an attempt to cover that. That's just a younger play. You've got to be calm and kind of read the setter there. It's a great dump. Smart play.
I think that was Alexa Bass with that dump. And it came off of the second hit there, so it was kind of a surprise. You could see it took Lady Lions off guard. Bad dig by Kennedy Wiley there from the back row. A little too much, and it goes over for a semi-happy birthday, as you would call it. Wiley with a big hit from the left. Shaw playing good defense, dig way in the back. Shaw again digs, set to Mealer. Good block, keeps it in play. Thompson.
Got a net violation on Mealer there. And especially, man, such a great rally. We had a lot of great defense as the Lady Lions take this timeout. A lot of great defensive plays there, especially by Shaw. You know, you were calling her name back to back. Clean passes up to Ivy. A couple times Ivy didn't quite get there, so there was one play she sent a free ball over the net. When you're down in a set like this, especially after beating a team 25-5, you can't be sending free balls over. You've got to hustle and get there, try and do something aggressive to turn the game back in your favor.
Yeah, and I would say the difference that we're seeing right now in set 2 as opposed to set 1, the hustle element is not there. You could see they came in set 1 after being swept by Texas Wesleyan, and they were not going to lose another set, a 4th set in a row. It just wasn't going to happen. You could see the fire in their eyes. It's almost they were anxious to get out on the court and prove, wait a minute, we are still one of the best teams in the nation. And they played like it in set 1. Now they're kind of relaxing. That game came so easy. Maybe they were shocked at how well they played. And the great teams do not fall back in the slump. You always play to your best potential, and you don't play down to your opponent's potential or the way they're playing. And that's what's happening here in set 2. Coach Moore called a timeout to try to get that corrected. Not corrected yet. Lady Lions are down 4, 12-16 over a team they just beat 25-5, Devin. How does that happen?
Well, you see a strategic substitution there by Coach Moore, putting Suzanne back in, pulling her back to pass to hide Kennedy Wiley because she has unfortunately sent a lot of balls over. They've been serving her knowing that she's unable to deliver a great pass. So it's a very strategic substitution, and we see there Suzanne comes in,
and
great
gets the
swing
point.
from the right side. So Coach Moore's pretty happy with that decision there.
You better believe it. And she's a point getter, but more than that, she's not a liability at all. She plays great defense and can score. Wiley, big hit. Celie Bruce doing what she does best. And that's a great two-back. That's a confidence builder, especially for Suzanne. And she's been in a slight bit of a slump last few games. Not that she's been playing that bad, but just not playing her best. And there's a double contact call. Good to see her really get going here, especially when Coach calls on her and brings her back off the bench and says, go get them. She gets back-to-back points. That's exactly how you get the big engine running again. And don't look now, the Lady Lions are within 1. There you go, volleyball, a SAGU Athletic Conference volleyball score update. John Brown up 1 set over Langston. Langston in a total rebuilding year. Almost all freshmen there.
And it's nice to see here the last time out in set number 2, the Lady Lions were down. I believe it was 12-16. So a 4-point spread is a pretty big deficit, especially this far into the set. We're getting close to that 20-point mark. You want to try and race to each level of each 5-point marker, and MACU is getting closer and closer to that. So it's nice to see the Lady Lions call that timeout. They are now on a 3-point run, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but again, when you're in these last teens of the game, you can't really give up too many points back to back. It's got to be a fight for each one, and MACU recognizes that. So again, Suzanne over and in on this serve is all we're looking for. And there it is.
It was in. Hard line. Trying to get an easy point there with some good defense. And now that gets ruled. It was in. Ooh.
It's hard to see from that angle.
I don't think that was in. She talked her way into it and looked at the ref. That was fighting for her point. They needed that. Third serve by Suzanne.
You see how reliable of a player she is, coming in on such a kind of a downer part of the game. And they're on a 6-point run now. The Lady Lions are up 18-6, and she walks back there, and it's like she could do this in her sleep. She's just so confident. That's what you need in a moment like this. You need a player to come out and not be overthinking and over-evaluating what to do. Just come out, have fun, and take charge of the court.
Yep. The confidence really rolling, and we're seeing R2. I think R2 thought there was a timeout being called and then had to wave it off. Coach Avalos says, I'm not calling timeout yet.
Now she is.
Now she gets the timeout. Now, can a coach call a timeout with any? There's certain times that, say in a basketball game, that a timeout can only be called, and do you have to maintain possession of the ball, or you can call the timeout anytime?
Yes, the timeout can be called as long as you've got one on the book. So with each set, each coach gets 2 timeouts within that 25-point marker. So you can use it whenever you want. Obviously, there's some strategy to it. You don't want to use both of them, well, hopefully, before your team even gets to 10.
Right.
You'd like to have that a little bit longer. But yeah, you can call it at any point and just hope that it works out well for your team.
There you go. You see another Sooner Athletic Conference score update. At all the conferences very active, especially the Sooner Athletic Conference tonight. Oklahoma City up 16-6 in set one, and it's SAGU and Oklahoma City sitting tied at number one right now. And if it was all done, if both of those teams win tonight and it was all done, Oklahoma City would win the automatic bid due to points because they are tied. And that's out. Big swing there by Skylar Brower. Suzanne still serving. Big hit, Kennedy Wiley. Maddie Hartline.
Kind of a miss hit there, but
It looked like it was a good miss hit.
went to the right spot.
Seven in a row for Suzanne serves, 7 serves in a row. And that's out. It will be an 8th in a row. She's getting a workout just serving. That was long, but Deja Thompson, 9 in a row. And there you go. Fought back. Devin, if I'm not mistaken, SAGU won the last 12 points.
Yeah, I think Coach Moore made the substitution for Suzanne when we were down 12-16. So she came in, had that swing from the right side, put him at 13, and then took him all the way to 25.
Yeah, and first set wasn't even close. Second set looked like MACU may have been on the upset path for that particular game, and brought the A team back in, did Coach Moore, and reeled off 12 straight points. That's highly unusual. There's another update. Texas Wesleyan up 2 sets to none and leads the third set 7-2. We saw earlier Southwestern Christian won the first set over Wayland Baptist, and while I think a lot of people in the conference would think Southwestern Christian would be an upset over Wayland Baptist, I'm not so sure. I think Southwestern Christian is an excellent volleyball team. They lost their big hitter and still have responded very well. 11-7 in the conference, very tough conference, and I think if they wouldn't have lost their hitter, they would maybe be up there and fighting for a top 3 spot. So do not take Southwestern Christian lightly, even though right now they're sitting in 5th place. Everybody's fighting for the top 4 at least to get home court advantage in the first round of the Sooner Athletic Conference tournament, because the first round is played at the top 4's home gym, and then there is a final 4 that gather up in Oklahoma for the conference tournament, to end out the conference tournament. So you want to get the best draw you can to ensure that hopefully your chances are a little bit easier going to the conference tournament. But that number 4 and 5 matchup could be tough if you got to play Southwestern Christian. There you go. I'm being prompted. I'm being baited into talking about the top 25 poll. If you follow NAIA volleyball like we do, you're going to be in tune to the top 25 poll. Look at 20 through 25. How SAGU got bumped out of the top 25 for 1 loss. Being a 2-loss team at the time this poll came out. 2-loss team, and you have a 5-loss, a 8-loss, a 10-loss, a 7-loss, a 9-loss, an 8-loss team. Just think of that. The horror, the travesty. Are you kidding me? What is going on with the NAIA? I've got to protest. Got to protest. But let's get back to the set 3. Long serve. And it was touched. It was touched. And R1 did not see it. The Lady Lions fess up as they always do.
You see that line judge, her reaction, her mouth was kind of hanging open when Shaw admitted to touching it. She was like, I called it out of bounds.
But, yeah, it was so slight that even the line judge couldn't see it. And there you go. That was a big swing by Deja Thompson. Just didn't get across. Good defense, Lady Lions. Back to serve again. Uh-oh.
Great recovery by Bruce there. A little shanked defense by Suzanne. Some scrappy ball. Just take a deep breath. Play some clean.
Oh, big hit. Deja Thompson doing great work. Showing her senior veteran leadership.
Smart tip there by Hartline.
That is so smart. She is a very savvy player, just getting better and better with each game. Almaguer, the serve. Hardline with a great set from Sophie Ivey, right in the wheelhouse, and she just pounds this ball. Great hit. She's another one that has a very, very good hitting percentage.
Now, if we can keep it.
Uh-oh. Oh! Great effort, though. If you could see this on the replay, hopefully we see the dive. Suzanne with the pancake. Now that's the effort we're talking about. That's what you need. That's what great teams have. All-out effort. Good block. A little bit out of position, out of system there for MACU. Deja Thompson hits it long. This is kind of smart here for Maddie Hartline. She wasn't in a great position to get that hit, but she hit it. She knew she could hit it deep and gets MACU out of system there. I learned that from you, Devin, the out of system.
Well, there's so much more to a strong hitter than just being able to swing really, really hard. We've talked about it a lot, and the great evidence right there. Shaw goes up a little bit of a tight set, so she reaches with her left hand. But, you know, a sign of a great hitter is no matter how bad the set, they're somehow able to turn it into a strong offensive
That's
play.
Callie Shaw all day long.
And even with Hartline on that last play, she knew where she was. She could see the opening. Great dig there by Almaguer. I thought that was down.
Yeah. That's the defense you need if you're going to be a great team, consider it a great team.
A good reach there by Ivy, kind of at the last minute to get the ball over the net. And a double contact called on MACU. But yeah, Hart line on that last play, she saw a deep open spot. She was out of system, not really in a great location on the court. But again, a great hitter can turn a bad set into a great play.
Let me get another good dig just to save it. Goes across the big block. Jesse Akers, Callie Shaw providing incredible defense. That was Almaguer serving wide left. There you can see it. Looks like it might make it, and it just doesn't. Out of bounds. Four-point lead. Lady Lions with the serve again. Sophie Ivy. Free ball over. Jancy Akers.
It's amazing what you can do when you get a simple pass to the setter.
Yeah, and that was a really good pass. Looks like Ivy's locking back in. Struggling as of late with some of her service, but she was just lights out in that 25-game winning streak. And it just shows you right there that the quarterback's got to be on. If your team's going to be on, quarterback's got to be on. And she's just setting great, putting the ball in great places for her hitters. And the hitters are executing.
And it's a beautiful part of the game of volleyball, the partnership between all the different positions. It's talked about in team sports all the time. No position is more important than any other. And I think volleyball does a great job of showing that. I mean, if you think about it, obviously you have 3 contacts on every play, so you need to have more than one person. So that's the super obvious aspect of it. But at the same time, you can have a great setter, say number 1 in the conference, have a really great setter, but no passers. Well, that doesn't really do you a lot of good if you can't get a pass to the setter. And at the same time, if you've got a great setter that doesn't have an offensive line to set, that doesn't really do them much good either. So it's a beautiful picture of teamwork, and that's why I think it's the best sport around.
Well said, Devin. Well said. It's as I've learned this over the last few years, watching this. It is a really great sport. Oh, big hit. Callie Shaw. Off the very well placed wall of block here.
Looked like that outside hand was just barely not strong enough to take the speed of Shaw's hit, and she used it to her advantage. And you saw there on that play, Celie Bruce goes down, tries to recover the ball, and Ivy kicks it up at the last minute with her foot. Now, if that would have been high enough, that is legal. There was a time when that was not, but now in indoor court volleyball, you can use your feet. Oh!
And Jancy Akers bringing a little of her own pepper sauce.
A worthy interruption, I would say.
Very worthy. And again, looks like the Lady Lions have found the groove again. You can tell the the good offense follows the good defense, and they're playing with much better energy. Oh, great hit. Susani Figueredo going straight down that right line. That's not easy to do, ladies and gentlemen. And it would have been in if not hit out of bounds by the defender. Great kill. Oh, Stalaby with lights out defense. Great effort. And a very rare hitting error into the net for Callie Shaw. Very rare.
And that's a great example of why it's so important to never give up on a ball. I mean, it would be easy to say, that ball's too far away, I'm not going to go after that. But Stalaby gave it all she had there. We talk about sacrificing your body for the team. I mean, she threw her body to the ground and got that ball up. That was great hustle.
She really, and she does that so well. She is a workhorse of a player. And Coach Moore has just learned to depend on that. Her team is depending on her to do that. And she just doesn't fail. She just plays great defense all the time. Wow. Kennedy Wiley filling it.
Got a double,
perfect.
Double
and that was a
contact.
great cross-court set. Great cross-court set. Sophie Ivy. Ooh, it was touched. She admitted to it, but the line judge said that was in, and I think that was actually out. But a very honest player, Megan Plunk. Nikki Almaguer back to serve. Waiting for R1 whistle to go. It's been initiated. Good block. Shaw hard line. Shaw with the coverage. Wow. She's just owning that line right now. And it was in.
It's fun to see Susani take those different spots on the floor.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Just that worked out great for the Evangels. Deja Thompson waited on it. Kind of a not the greatest set, but with the athleticism that Deja Thompson has, she could wait on it in the air. I mean.
And Callie Shaw comes right back with the same motion right there. Beautiful attack.
If you could bottle that hot salsa up, you would make a lot of money, Callie Shaw. That is just beautiful. Ashlyn Thomas served in. Thompson from the 10-foot line almost gets it. Good block. A little bit of an off-speed kill there by Jancy Akers.
And I think this set number 3, as we take a timeout for MACU here at the score, they're down 9, serving 19. I think set number 3 is kind of a combination of 1 and 2. You know, obviously 1 was kind of a no questions asked about who was going to take that one. Set number 2, MACU was ahead almost the entire time,
Right.
and the Lady Lions kind of woke up at the end. And now, you know, we're seeing a little bit of both. It was kind of neck and neck there up until kind of the 12-point mark, and then the Lady Lions really took it and ran with it there. And we're seeing that momentum come back for them here at the end of set 3.
And there you have it, another score update in the Sooner Athletic Conference. Oklahoma City up 1-0 over Oklahoma Panhandle State University. And they lead the second set 12-10. Now, we haven't talked a whole bunch about Oklahoma City getting the raw deal from the coaches poll. We've talked a little bit about SAGU and their great run, but remember, Oklahoma City has the same record as SAGU, and they are very, very good. And they handed us a loss just a couple of weeks ago, so they can play with the best of them. And I would say they are definitely a top 10, top 15 team at worst, not getting any love by the Raiders, and that is a shame. Shame on you, Raiders. Good left-handed hit there.
That was a great aggressive play by Ashlyn Thomas, taking that second ball. We've talked a lot about how when Celie Bruce is in, it's the libero's responsibility when Ivy plays the first defensive touch. Ashlyn Thomas, no hesitation there. She knew that was her ball. She didn't look around and say, oh no, who's going to take it, who's going to take it. She went for it, and that's what you have to do. When you know that second ball is yours, you've got to just be confident and call people off, and she did a great job there, and it went down for her as an assist.
Akers with another block. Good coverage for Callie Shaw. And not over. Too many hits for the Lady Lions. Point MACU.
It's a little bit confusing there when you've got so much going on at the net. Who touched it? Did someone touch it? Do I go for it?
Shaw swings, it gets blocked, and then she covered herself. Is a cover the same as a block? Or is that the first hit?
Yeah, it's considered the first hit if your arms aren't up above the net.
Okay.
But, you know, when you've got so much going on at the net and you can't really tell if the other team touched it, that's why the old saying goes, you always play till the whistle blows.
Right.
You don't ever want to assume until the referee makes a call for you.
Alexis Mealer in for Suzanne, and Coach Moore congratulating Suzanne for a great match. I mean, a great match. And she needed that coming off of probably her worst game at Texas Wesleyan. So good snapback.
You saw Bruce there, kind of surprised at the intensity of that swing.
That was a great swing by MACU. Jancy Akers with a big hit, but an even bigger block from the middle blocker. That was 18 and 19. Diane Walter and Elena Hajiva. Sophie Ivy with a little touch pass over. You gotta be, if you're a blocker, you've got to be dreading being matched up against Callie Shaw. You know you're going to need a bottle of Advil to try to just quell the inflammation that's going to happen in your fingers. Oh, nice touch, Kennedy Wiley. Oh, great dig by MACU, playing good defense. Jancy Akers, recognizing that they were out of position, hits it back quickly, right there. And that's just smart play by a freshman.
Lots of exciting hustle there, too.
Yeah.
We saw, aggressive plays on offense, and then they have to transition right away to blocking. And, collegiate ball is not, blocking is no joke. So you've got to really be aggressive in that placement.
Here it is. Oh, and that was going to be game and match point. Callie Shaw hits it in the net. What? Just don't see that much.
We'll make up for it right here in this play.
Could be match point. Mealer. And a big block by the two freshmen, Jancy Akers and Alexis Mealer, to secure the match point right there. Well done, Lady Lions. Well done. And that is the match for tonight. Tomorrow night, you're going to have to finish off the season with I think it's the last match of the regular season play. It is, and it'll be against the University of Science and Arts of Oklahoma, coming down to Waxahachie here in the Schaefer Center. Should be a lot of fun, but other than it's the last conference game of the regular season, the last game of the regular season, it's senior night. Or senior day, I guess that it's going to be
Senior
in the day.
afternoon.
Senior afternoon. And we're not talking about senior citizens, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the seniors, the veterans of this volleyball club here at SAGU. The seniors will be honored tomorrow. You don't want to miss that matchup. And we will air it live here at the SAGU Sports Network and bring you all the festivities that come along with Senior Day. And that's just going to be fun to see. It's bittersweet. It's great to see these young ladies come into their own, be recognized, but also it's the reality. They're not going to be here much longer. And down courtside, we have Kristen Urban with Callie Shaw, player of the game. And Kristen, what does Callie have to say about tonight's win?
Callie, great win. What were some of the factors in the team's success?
We're coming off of a really tough loss on Tuesday. And so yesterday and Thursday, we really just focused on being a family and playing together. And that's all we really did in the practice, and that's all we talked about. So that's what we went out and did.
What's it going to take to defeat USAO tomorrow?
The same thing. We got to play together. Any team on any given day can beat us. So we just got to play together and play on our level, not theirs, and focus.
Thanks, Callie, and congratulations. Back to you, John and Devin.
Thanks, Kristen, and thanks, Callie. Callie Shaw. She's been an incredible, constant rock on this campus for 4 years. Not just a great player, volleyball player, but a great human being. And if you saw the craziness that was happening in that interview, I tried to hold it together, but I had to laugh. That was Callie Shaw's boyfriend, and looked like some family behind, just with some shenanigans trying to get in photobomb. But that was great, and you won't want to miss tomorrow's game. She will be one of the seniors being honored, and we want to send them out with a bang. It will be a great, great game. We think they should have a good shot at winning USAO. You don't want to take any game for granted, but should be another one like today, and hopefully they will end their regular season career and career all 4 years here as Lady Lions with a win. That would be fantastic. Well, Devin, any parting thoughts? what's it like? You've been a senior. You've come through this program. What are those thoughts that you have as finishing your career? Is it exciting? Is it? Are you sad? What goes through emotionally a player's mind when you when you reach the end of your collegiate career?
Well, I had an interesting end to mine, so I couldn't play after my sophomore year, so I didn't have the glory of my senior day, night, afternoon, whatever it was.
Well, you had an injury.
Yes, I did. Yeah. I did. So I think, but no matter what, no matter if you're a senior or if you have, an injury and you can't keep playing, the realization that this season of your life is almost over, and at least for me, volleyball was a huge part of who I was all growing up, and it had a lot to do with how I turned out as an adult now. It taught me so much about responsibility and working as a team and, so many things other than just what was on the scoreboard. And I think, if anyone were to ask me if I would play sports all over again, I would, not even hesitate to say yes, even with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Absolutely.
the seniors are evaluating, now they're about to graduate and they're getting ready to go out into a new season of life. And so it's a big reflective moment for sure. You're thankful for the sport and all that it's taught you and all the relationships that you've made through the years. And so, yeah, it's sad, but at the same time, you have a lot of great memories and you can take what you've learned from those years of playing and use them later on in your adult life, use those lessons. And so I would say bittersweet is probably the best word to describe it. I know these girls tomorrow are going to have a lot of great memories to reflect on. And
Sure.
Some tears will be shed, I'm sure, but if it were me, I wouldn't trade anything, and
Right.
I would definitely do it again in a heartbeat.
Well said, Mrs. Webb. That's why we love you here at the SAGU Sports Network. Just always saying the right things and bringing great perspective to this broadcast. Thank you for being here. We got one more to do, at least one more. And but hopefully the Lady Lions will keep this winning tradition going, secure a spot in the NAIA National Champions Tournament. And that would be great for this program altogether, but also great to see these young ladies be honored for such great achievement this year. I believe it's 25-3, 26-3 now. That's just incredible. Best season as of yet. And it's been a lot of fun to watch. Well, until tomorrow, 26-3. Thanks, guys, for throwing that up. There you see the updated stats or standings for Sooner Athletic Conference. 26-3, 90%. That is just amazing. But until tomorrow, when we meet you right back here, same Lion channel, same Lion time for the last season game that we will be broadcasting. It's a little bittersweet for me too. Please join us tomorrow. And until then, we'll see you. May God richly bless you. So long. Good night.